Hey, this is Daniel Norton. I'm here in my studio in New York City with Erica, and we're shooting some fun kind of fashion character type portraits today. We decided to just do some different things, and I had been looking a lot at these like kind of 1970s black and white shots that were kind of this like high contrast style, and I wanted to kind of emulate that feel in some of the work that we're doing. And luckily, we got a really cool dress and a really cool model, and we decided to mess around with it a little bit. So I did change it up a bit from my original plan. I was thinking, oh, you know, I'll use like a white background because that was really common. But then I have this is why you should keep everything. I have this kind of cool board that just says painted and crusty and whatever, and I keep it in my studio just for a texture. And in this case, the color doesn't matter. It's kind of a weird greenish color, but I'm making it black and white ultimately, so it's just nice texture on the background. And the other thing I did was I decided to use a beauty dish, which probably wasn't something they'd use. Again, I'm taking an idea and then modernizing it to work for me. So I've got a beauty dish with the grid on it, a Pro Photo beauty dish with the B1X, simple one light setup. And what I've done is I'm using the beauty dish because I want to get a bit of a vignette, right? So I'm using the beauty dish with the grid to kind of give myself this vignette so the background has almost like a spotlight feel on her. And the light's like washing across her. And it's hard light, but it's not super hard because the beauty dish is not as tiny as, let's say, a small pan reflector that you might have used. I do have just a white card here to kick a little bit of light back in. And we were messing around a little bit, and I was actually just using this black card to block the window, but we may shoot some with the window like that as well. So ultimately, I'm in Capture One, I'm tethered, I'm using my Canon 1DX. I've got the 24-70 on here. I wanted to shoot around a normal length because a lot of stuff was shot with 80 millimeters on Hasselblads and stuff back in the day, so that's kind of normal-ish to a little bit wide. So I'm shooting anywhere from like 35 to 50 generally with this. Sometimes I'm backing up and shooting at 70 when I want to, if she gets too wide, I have to compress the background a bit. So you'll see I'll move back and forth a little bit. And then I'm doing two things in Capture One. So let me just kind of show you. I already have an image up here that we just shot. You can see it's black and white. What I've done is I've activated the black and white, so I'm going to do it in reverse now. Basically, I'm going to reset this one so I can just show you how I did it. Really simple. And what's one thing that's cool about shooting tethered, especially if you're going to do the work in post, is you can actually show the model or the client or whatever, or you and yourself, like what it's going to look like, right? So I can put these numbers in essentially. So I've got the photo, it's kind of a standard, she's well lit. I underexposed it a little bit because I'm going to add a lot of contrast, so I didn't want to blow up my highlights. So I've got it here, she's lit up. I go to my adjustments. I have like a style here. This could be, if you were in like Lightroom, you can put presets and stuff like that. I'm going to go to my built-in styles, legacy, and there's actually one called 70s look, which is a color style, and it's kind of this like, some of the colors are punchier, some of them are a little bit more muted, and this in and of itself looks kind of cool. But on top of that, I'm just switching to black and white. This is going to give me that kind of crunchy black and white look. I can always bring it back, and just so you know, when you're doing things in black and white, one nice thing to do is that you can mess with your tones down here. Like I've got like the red tones, I can bring my reds up and down. That will generally bring the skin brighter and somebody's skin tone like Erica. And I can actually make my own custom kind of black and white profile for her as I'm going. So I don't go too crazy at this point, but I could do that, and I can actually apply this to any shots I ever do, in this style in the future. So we've got this set up, and then what I'm going to do is, I got my beauty dish. I am in manual on my controller here. I've already set up the shot. I used TTL originally, and we're just going to shoot a few. So here I am with a wider lens. This is a 35, and you can see that's going to get a little bit of like, I'm right up on her with it, right? But if I want, like if I was trying to like change my angle here, you'd see here, like I'll show you, I might get some background separation. You see I'm getting the background of the shot? But if I back up and I go to 70, I'm actually able to shoot that same angle without getting the background. So that's one thing that using a longer lens can do for you. So just keep that in mind when you're working. That's why I have a zoom on and not just the fixed lens. I can also come in close for some. This should be kind of interesting because of the contrast. And again, just backing up, using the shape of my model, using the shape of the light, look off towards the light this way, just to kind of create some really interesting effects. And then another option here for me, again, is this black card. So I'm going to, when the model's doing good stuff, you can't stop shooting. Okay, well, I'm going to use the black card to get it basically a black background. So I'm just going to do that by just turning this way. Now, I'm going to start this way. She'll be like backlit a little bit. It could be kind of interesting. She's got a great profile. So we'll start there. See what it looks like. I'll just take a quick peek. Oh yeah, that's kind of moody and cool. We'll start there. Good. That's nice, that's nice, that's nice. Actually, I feel like this is the kind of thing that happens when you're working, and this is what's great about shooting digitally, is this looks great, but I actually wonder, I think it might look good in color. So I just want to quickly take a look. Oh yeah, it's got an interesting look in color too. I'm gonna bring this card up and closer. You can always add another light, but I find that when you're shooting, if you can avoid it, I try to stick with one light if you can, as far as on my subject, and then only add lights if necessary. Like a fill card is often just as good. Let me see, bring that other arm up like you had before. It was really nice, yeah, there we go. See what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. That just gives me enough detail in there where I like it. And then maybe work your face off this way. Let's do a couple profiles. Again, getting the maximum use out of your setup is always important. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Very, very mysterious. Very, very cool. Okay, let's come back this way again. Get a couple more of the original plan. So I want to do a couple where you're just going to just like, yeah, exactly, just straight on, boom, like that. Do a quick test to see if I like. I'm going to go to 70 for this, I think. We're going to take a look. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Actually, what's cool about this is she's almost like divided. Just take your, because I'm losing the detail in this arm, so just your left arm, so just bring it out from your body a little bit. There we go. Let me see if that helps. She's come forward a little bit, so she's in slightly different light. Yeah, stand still. She's good. I'm just going to fix it. Remember, always be paying attention to what you're doing so that you can get the maximum. And by the way, you probably see there's a window behind me. It's not really affecting my shot at all because of my exposure right now, which is 200th of a second, 5.6 ISO 100. There we go. Just want to bring my detail back there. And then I'm just going to feather it off a little bit. So feathering is when you move the light so you're not using the center of it. We're basically using the edge of the light. And I'm keeping her right at the edge of exposure where it's like almost going to burn or blow out. There we go. That's pretty. That's perfect. I'm going to go a little bit up on my toes. Good. That's beautiful. Good. Nice. A couple more like that right at me. Good. Beautiful. Right there. Right there. Right there. Ooh. Beautiful. Very nice. So that's cool. So we were getting a lot of variety here, a lot of different looks, and actually I ended up back at the beginning. And I think if you were to compare this to some of the original shots we had looked at, we actually got there in the end. So you know, have an idea when you come into it, but be open to change, and you'll get a lot of great shots. You know, work with your subject, get some cool stuff, think about what complements them, and try to, you know, see what people are doing and then make it your own, I think is a good advice. So thanks for watching. You can find Erica Lynn Bridge on Instagram. Follow me on social, Facebook and YouTube, Daniel Norton Photographer. And be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV. And I'll see you next time on set.